Firstly, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the Canberra region, where I reside, the Ngunnawal people, and pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. When Jennifer contacted me about the AAEE Fellowship, I said to her it was an unexpected honour to be recognised by the association for my contributions to EE over the years. I was thrilled to receive the news, and I thank the National Executive for conferring on me this very special award for 2021. I must also thank the ACT chapter of the association for nominating me for the fellowship. It certainly came as a surprise. It has been a really rewarding time to be associated with this group of very passionate environmental educators since coming to Canberra a few years ago. I've been a continuous member of A Squared E Squared since 1994. Through the association, I have made many of my professional and research contacts in EE, not just from Australia, but also New Zealand. I therefore know many of the long-term members of the association and have collaborated with some over the years. I presented papers at AAEE national and state conferences on a semi-regular basis from about 2000, and I have been a long-time member of the AJEE editorial board. For those at the conference that I have not met, I currently hold an adjunct professorship in the School of Education at Southern Cross University, where I was a lecturer for many years. Most of my involvement in EE has therefore been with school and pre-service teacher education. Jennifer asked that I talk for a few minutes about my reasons for working in the EFS space and a couple of the most significant projects that I've been involved in. Put simply, I probably took an initial interest in the EFS space after hearing Paul Ehrlich talk at the Sydney Town Hall about his book, The Population Bomb, when I was at university in the early 1970s. Then as a young science education lecturer at Southern Cross University, the opportunity arose to make an environmental difference beyond a personal level. I introduced and taught environmental education as an elective unit in various education and other degrees at Southern Cross University from the mid-1980s to several years after my retirement in 2009. Over a 25-year period, I hopefully influenced many hundreds of future teachers and other professionals to embrace EFS in their fields. I also worked in the EFS space because I saw I could make an environmental education difference through my research and publications. I will mention 4 initiatives and their outcomes. Contact with Broadwater Public School in northern New South Wales and its principal in the late 1990s led to an interest in learnscapes, usually thought of as purposely designed outdoor areas for environmental learning. Research focused on primary and secondary teachers' perceptions of learnscapes at their school and their levels of implementation of EE within that context. Over the last decade, my research with colleagues from the University of Liverpool has focused on school students' beliefs about the effectiveness of actions in reducing global warming and their willingness to take those actions. Over time, this became a multi-cross-national study. One key outcome is how a country's national culture impacts on students' environmental decision-making. Most recently, I have worked with an ACT AAEE chapter member, Jodie Green. We developed a position paper on Earth System Science Education and its role in the Australian curriculum. It assisted in revisions to the National Science Curriculum and the Sustainability Cross-Curriculum Priority Area. It will be published later this year. Finally, a long-term belief of mine has been that effective environmental education needs to include an appreciation of our intrinsic or inner connection with our environment. In this vein, I wrote an early AJEE article titled Spirituality and Environmental Education. This was in 1990. It was not a common topic at the time, but it seems to be receiving more attention in recent years. I could mention various other major research curriculum and evaluation consultancies and reports, including my strong associations with James Cook University and the New South Wales Department of Education, but time does not permit. In reflecting on my association with AAEE over the last 40 years, I realised that most of my contributions to AAEE commenced with relationships I formed with AAEE colleagues. They're too numerous to mention, but I thank them for their cooperation and collaboration. Once again, my sincere thanks to the association for honouring me with this fellowship. It means a great deal to me. Thank you.